Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Built This podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 87. So, you guys, I have started a fast since last week. This will be my 8th day on this fast. And I started last week because I've just been feeling like I needed to do something different. I needed to change some things up. And particularly with this fast, I am giving up on alcohol consumption and sex, and I am working out 5 times a week. So last week I've worked out every day. Literally, I worked out every day. So when I say work out 5 times a week, I'm saying at least 5 times a week. So it could be exactly 5 times. It could be more than that. It could be every single day of the week. There was one day when I didn't do a typical workout. Instead, I went on a hike, and that was rejuvenating for me and my spirit. And that was great. So I decided to go on this fast because I've been inspired lately, based off of some of the things I've been watching and some of the podcasts that I've been watching on YouTube. So I watch the Joe Rogan podcast pretty regularly, and there's a guest on a recent episode. His name is John Cena, and he's like this I guess fitness guru, just a strong mindset when it comes to working out and the benefits of working out. Sometimes we may think working out is just for vanity purposes. And yes, you want to look good. You want to feel fit, right? You want to have this specific aesthetic. You want to have these abs. You want to have ripped arms, and all that is great. I see no problem in that. But I recognize that fitness, working out is more than just the look. It is a mindset change. It is a focus that you are putting in. It's a concentration level that's increased. It is a commitment that you are committing to yourself. It is a self-esteem booster, and not just based off of your physical appearance being different, but it's a booster knowing that you are setting out an intention for yourself. You are setting out a goal for yourself, and you're seeing yourself through it. You know, the pride and the accomplishment that you feel after a workout, it's amazing. And it's more than just in that moment. It bleeds into other parts of your life. So you may realize, oh, I'm working out, I conquered this 30, 45, maybe an hour workout. And you know what? I'm going to take that same energy and be more mindful of what I consume in my body, be more mindful of what I watch on TV, or be more mindful of what I say and how I speak to myself, how I speak to others. It bleeds into every other part of your life if you let it. But it does it naturally, I feel like, in my experience. So working out has been just a benefit for me. I have been learning more about my own discipline. I've been putting myself in discipline mode, and I've been speaking more life into myself. And I think that's a great thing about working out. We are more affirming of ourselves. Oftentimes we may say things that's discouraging to our spirit, right? Oh, I can't do this. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm not that pretty. Or we just speak death to ourselves sometimes, and we don't realize how frequently we do it. And when we are working out, that there's no time to say I can't do it. No. I'm gonna body this mountain climber. I'm gonna body this push-up. I'm going to go hard on these deadlifts, and I'm doing it because I love myself. I'm doing it because I honor my body. I honor how I am in the body that I am, and I honor my ancestors by putting me here into this flesh. I believe in we were who we are right now hasn't been who we were in a previous lifetime. And that's a whole different podcast. I've been like really getting into more of that spiritual, just enlightenment stuff. And I am here for a reason, and my purpose is being more revealed to me. So when we are speaking more life into our bodies, speaking more life into our thought patterns and how we see each other and how we see ourselves, we are more intentional in and more affirming in how we speak. So anyway, this is pretty heavy, but I'm still the same old bitch. No, but my point is, honestly, I've been just on this kind of just upward mobility, really, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And not only was it inspired because of a podcast that I watch, but it was also inspired because of just realizing I don't, and I've said this in a previous episode a while ago. I always share my sexual adventures and experiences with these niggas, and I've always given my body up to men who I don't really like. And I just sit back and I say to myself, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, I spoke about a recent experience with a nigga, and how as soon as he came in, and we were talking for a while, like 3 or 4 weeks online texting, and really vibing out with each other through that format. And we finally met up, and as I met him, this is the fee fi fo fum nigga, fee fi Goliath nigga. And as soon as he came into my apartment, I was like, I don't want this anymore. Like, I don't want to do this. And all of those feelings that were seemingly present prior to meeting him is suddenly gone, like ghost. And I'm just standing there, standing behind my island while he's on the other end, and I'm looking at him, and I'm just like trying to conjure up the feelings that I had previously for him, and I couldn't. Like, it just wasn't there anymore. And it's more than just the physical, because I believe in the whole, like, you got to feel a chemistry, you got to feel a vibe, you got to feel people's energy. And it's just like, it's not there. And instead of just, kind of, all right, it was good, I'll see you later, bro, trying to keep it cute and, letting you walk out. Instead of doing that, what I always do, and it's not just with him, but he was just the most recent one. Well, there's another one I may talk about him later, but he was the one who I talked about here recently. And instead of just like letting him go and asking him to lead, escorting him out, I fucked him. And I don't know if I should even count it, because he was the one who I told y'all it was kind of done as soon as it started, because his heart got soft and I don't know what the fuck was going on. I was just like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then I just put my clothes on, and we just ended it that night. But my point is, I'm tired of having to get to that point after the sex, right? I'm tired of having to realize, not only before the sex, I'm not really that into you, but to still then go ahead and give you my body when I know I'm not really that into you. Like, why am I doing that? So I've been realizing there's some inner work that I need to do, that I need to realize within myself. I already know, because I'm very introspective, I'm very self-reflective. I sit with myself, I sit with my thoughts, I journal, I talk to myself, I just sit in silence, and these thoughts come in, and I'm just remembering, or you're trying to get down to the bottom of what happened the other day, or what happened 2 days ago, etc., just so I can understand myself more. So I'm constantly in that mindset, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I am doing the same things over and over and over again. I'm insane. I'm insane, because I'm expecting something different every time, but I'm doing the same thing over again. So I'm fucking him or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. Like, I can't tell y'all. I don't know if any other woman is like this, but I can't sit through or perform through a complete sex activity. Like, I feel like I'm bored, or I really just don't want to be here. Like, I really don't want to be fucking you. That's really what it is in my head. And as I'm fucking you, I'm thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I thought I wanted to. Never mind. Like, and I'm quick and I'm good. I'm that. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I'm that one who will say, "All right, get off. I need a break," and I pull that whole "I need a break" card just to say, "Oh, oh my gosh, you're so much." Like, I'm trying to fill up the ego of the guy. But I really, it's not even about that. Like, I actually didn't feel your dick. Like, I actually don't feel any pleasure from this. And instead, what I really am feeling is relief. Like, I really don't want you inside of me. I really don't want to be in this intercourse moment with you ever. And it's not just you, it's the other guy. It's the guy before you too. It's the guy before that nigga. Like, it's all of y'all. Like, I really don't want to fuck y'all. Like, and I've been fucking y'all. And why do I do that? So I'm doing this introspection, and I'm trying to figure out, why am I doing this? Why am I having sex when I don't want to? Why am I giving this guy attention when I see him, when I finally see him and meet up with him, I am suddenly over it? What is this flaky energy that I am giving? And it's funny because I really liked a guy 3 years ago, this guy who I really liked, and it was like, really, I really thought he was the one. I felt like, well, he was showing me that he was feeling the same way. We worked together, but throughout our relationship, per se, like, we wasn't romantic, but throughout our work relationship, we were still professional, but there was still moments when we were showing flirtation, when we were flirting with each other. And finally, on the last day of school, and I've talked about him many episodes ago, but on the last day of school, when where we worked together, we finally let down our guard and profess our feelings for each other, and we kissed, and it was just such a great moment. And I thought, this is going to last further than it did, but it didn't. And it just was, there was a rug pull up under me, and I was just so devastated by it. And then that was just done, right? So, and I bring him up because he told me at one point that, so after we kissed and after we had this whole intense emotional moment with each other, he then said, I don't feel the same way for you as you feel for me. And like, just completely caught me off guard, right? So I'm completely baffled, don't know what to say, because I thought we were here. He was about to embark on this abroad adventure for his career that he was pursuing, and he was going to go on this trip like a couple of months after. And that day when we were kissing and really vibing and really letting our guard down with each other, he will speak in future tense for us. Like, he would speak in a us type of format. And he said, "Oh, when you come to England," because that's where he was going to be, "when you come to England, you're going to love this area. You're going to love," like, he was speaking about me in a way that was present in his life more than just this present time. And I was just so in deep feeling for this man. I want to say love. I want to say anything else. I was just so deeply in him. That's really what it was. I was so deeply in him. And I felt like, this is it. Like, this is it. No one can tell me otherwise. He's feeling for me how I feel for him. And, I sat still throughout this moment because I spoke to God. I was like, "God, I don't want to be the aggressor anymore. I don't want to be the one pursuing the guy." Because many times prior to him, I was the one who was a little bit more aggressive. I was the one who would make the first move. And I said, I'm going to sit back. I want to be courted. I want to be spoken to first. And he gave me all of that. This guy gave me all of that. And so I really was feeling all of that confirmation, seemingly so, that he was the one for me. Anyway, and I was remembering that moment recently, and because I still think about him, I still think about the feeling that I had in that moment, and I've never had that feeling since, and that was 3 years ago. So all of the guys that I fucked recently and not so recent, and all the guys that I dated, a little bit more than just a casual thing, I never felt for any of them the way I felt for the guy from 3 years ago. So I was remembering one time when he spoke to me, he was saying how he often has these flings with women. He would feel like he really likes someone and suddenly feel nothing for them. like as if nothing was ever felt for that woman. He would suddenly feel those feelings. And he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why this is happening. He doesn't know why he does that. And he feels awful when he does that, but it's something that he does frequently. And I was not the only woman who he had that experience with. So pretty much like I was just one of the women. I don't think he was talking to other women at that time. I don't know. But what he was saying is pretty much there was a woman before me who he did the same thing with. And the woman before her, he did the same thing with, et cetera, et cetera. And so when he said that, of course, that still crushed me because it's like, damn, I was just a casualty to you. I didn't mean shit to you. And I really felt hard for him. And I was devastated. And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking like, I'm him. I don't know if that experience made me him. But I mean, I could reference moments in prior to him when I put myself in situations that were more short term than long standing. So I think honestly, I look back at it and I feel like that needed to happen because he's a lesson for me as well. And I feel like there was a reason why we were attracted to each other. You know how they say you attract who you are, you attract what you are, right? There's something in you that is aligning yourself to someone else. There's some similarities that you have with said person. And that person could be toxic as fuck, right? We're quick, and sometimes I'm quick to say, oh, this nigga ain't shit. He was toxic, blah, blah, blah. And yes, many niggas are. Let's start from the base. Many niggas are. And what I could say, I am too. Fuck, I'm toxic as fuck too. Like, I am working on that, right? I am introspective. And I don't know, those other guys are aware of their toxicity. But for me, I am more aware of my toxic ways. And it has liberated me, but sometimes it devastates me because it's like, damn, is this just it? Like, can this be changed? Is this just who I am? Is this just the Aquarius in me? They always say Aquarius are detached and they don't like commitment and all of that shit. That is me to the core. But I don't want to fully subscribe to that because I feel like if you want change, you can get it. If you don't like how you look, you could change that, right? And if you don't like how you behave or how you speak to people or to yourself, that could be changed too. There's ways to work on that and there's ways to improve, but ultimately you have to get to the root. You have to understand why that is and why that has been of your character. And so I was thinking to myself, damn, me and that guy from 3 years ago, we definitely relate. Like, there was a reason why me and him connected so well, because we had that casual, light, fun, flighty energy and we vibe well on top of other things. But that was something that underneath it all, that's what really connected us. That's what really glued us together. So that opened my eyes and that made me have more grace about that situation. And I had to come to the realization that, although that ended, it gave me what I needed in that moment. And I think about who I am today. I don't think that would have worked with who he was. And he was a great guy. And I still think about him sometimes. He's about to get married. I don't know if he already got married, but last time I checked a couple of months ago, after checking up on these past niggas, he was engaged. So maybe, whatever. But the point is, I am trying to practice more gratitude for things that ended when I didn't want them to end. Sometimes we think, oh, this ended prematurely. I didn't want this relationship to end, or I really thought he was the one. I really thought she was the one. I really thought this was going to go longer than what it was. And we can't, I can't fight for what's done, right? What's done is done. I can't go back to it. It's dead. It's done. And there's no room for that space anymore in my life, because who I am today, who I have grown, who I have evolved to be, I'm so different in so many ways than who I was 3 years ago. And so I don't think, and I know that it just wouldn't have vibed well with us, and we wouldn't have lasted longer than what we was. And so I was thinking about that. So I was trying to have more grace to and more gratitude to things that ended, because they gave me what I needed for the moment. And now I am opening myself to more of what I need moving forward. So I know it's so easy for us to and I know for me, it's so easy for me to get so stuck on what didn't last, what didn't work out, and the sadness of that. And I used to cry myself to sleep sometimes, and I would go over all the good times I had with him, and I would be so upset. And that was 3 years ago. And it's like, damn, fuck, move on. But there's been nobody since who I felt so much for. Anyway, I think about what is the root, right? What is the reason why I have been putting myself in situations that I know is not going to last longer than this weekend, right? That I know is not going to last longer than a day. I've been putting myself in niggas that I'm never going to see you again. I know past this point, I will never see or hear from you again, whether that is because of me not seeing you and meeting you again, right? Or talking to you again, or if that's because of you. Either way, I know what it's going to be. And yet I put myself into situations because I guess subconsciously I realize I don't want more than this moment. I have written so many poems, and I write poems. I don't know if you guys know that, but I've written so much poetry about feelings of moments, of momentous events in my life, and realizing that I've been in a lot of moments, and I've been in a lot of momentous feelings that I would convince myself, or I would gaslight my own self thinking, oh, this is going to last long, when no, this nigga's just here for the weekend. I hooked up with a guy who was literally just here for the weekend. He's from another state. He came here for the weekend for his boy's birthday, and we had mutual friends, and we just kind of vibe. But I knew this wasn't going to go anywhere, right? And he came over. I think it was fine though. I still see him because he flies in and out sometimes. I guess he still has friends here, so he'll come visit often. But me and him we don't hook up like that. It was just literally that one time. So anyway, he came over, and we were kind of a little drunk. He was definitely drunk. So we're fucking, right? And he is saying these intense things to me as we are engaging in sexual intercourse. He's saying what he's saying. He's like, tell me you love me. Tell me you won't ever leave me. And he's doing it with so much intensity, so much passion. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it's like, obviously I know I don't love you, right? Obviously I know you don't love me. Obviously this really ain't shit. This is really nothing. We're going to wake up in 4 hours and realize, what a night. It's really nothing. And yet in that moment, I wanted to believe it so badly, and I wanted to stretch that moment. So I remember the morning after we were like getting ready to get up out, because I give niggas one night. You are leaving after one night. And even that night, I'm just like, ugh, damn, he's in my bed for real? Like, I be scratching. This one guy, oh my God, that's a whole other episode. One guy, I felt like he gave me dandruff. Like, dead ass. I felt like, you know how you get dander from an animal, from a pet, right, who isn't hypoallergenic? I felt like he gave me dander for one day right after he spent one night with me. And I was like, what? And he works at a farm, but he showered before he came here. But I don't know if he doesn't shower well. Maybe he needs like an exfoliator. But I felt like he gave me dander. Oh, and just thinking about that freaks me out. But anyway, he I remember that time. So yes, I give niggas one night. One night. Cause honestly, it'd be the morning after, and I'm just laying there like, oh, hi, you're still here? Like, and then they're snoring. Well, I only had one guy, the most recent guy who I had relations with. He was a snorer. Like, Dad, is that you? Because my dad snores. Okay. So he was a snorer. But the point is, like, it's not just the snoring, it's just the presence of another body in my bed. I don't like it. And it is more than just the presence. It's the fact that I really don't know you like that. Damn, I just fucked another nigga I didn't really want to fuck. And you're in my bed and you're still here and you're going to be here until you get the fuck out. Like, that's really how I'm thinking. So I wake up super uncomfortable. I remember one time, girl, I got stories. I remember one time this guy, he was like waking up. He's like rubbing up on me, like trying to cuddle up. And it's like, nigga, we already had sex. Like, just get off. Stop touching me. Don't look at my body anymore. He was like getting up and he was like trying to talk in the morning, and it's like, nigga, your breath stinks, and my breath stinks in the morning. I don't want to talk to you. I want you to run to the bathroom and do something real quick. Or when I run to the bathroom and do something to my breath, I want to come back out and not see you here anymore. Can we do that? Can we work on that? I want to brush my teeth and come back into, because my bedroom and my bathroom is connected. Okay. I want to open the door from my bathroom into my bedroom and not see you laying on my bed anymore. I want you to get the fuck out. Don't even say goodbye. I got it. Okay. Bye. Thank you. This won't ever happen again. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you laying on my bed. And just imagine, like, I'm up here getting my hygiene, my morning routine on, my skincare on, brushing my teeth, cleaning my ears, pissing that nice good old morning piss. And I come back out and I see a whole stranger man on my bed. What the fuck did I do? Like, honest. Anyway, where was I going with that? My point was, I don't like niggas in my bed longer than one night. I don't like niggas in my bed longer than one night. I don't even want you there that one night, honestly, but I'm just being nice. And I'm tired of being nice, okay? So I think to myself, why am I doing this? That's the root. We're going back to the root. There's something that I learned recently. It's called shadow work. And I know it sounds like a little spooky. It's not spooky. At least, I guess, maybe there's different variations of it. But what I've been doing and what shadow work is uncovering parts of yourself that you have suppressed, that you have been covering up, that you have been hiding, putting in the back burner, that you have been just suppressing. And one morning recently during my fast, I think it was like literally day 1 or day 2 of my fast, I was suddenly recalling moments from my childhood, from when I was 13, when I was 14, my freshman year of high school. And Here's the thing with this. It's hard to, you know how you tell your truth and your testimony, but your truth impedes on other people, right? People in your family, and it will paint them in a poor light just based off of what you're sharing, right? So I've been thinking about sharing this with you all because I've always been transparent on this podcast, yet I've been hesitant about sharing because I feel like, one, I can't control who's listening, right? I don't know who's listening to be nosy, who's listening with poor intentions, right? Who's trying to be nosy and gossip. I can't control that. God bless you. Because that's really sad and pathetic. But I can't control that. But I also fear that, or my hesitance lies into, I don't want anyone else to paint a poor picture of said person that is part of my realization, that is part of my testimony. So I'm gonna share what I'm gonna share in ways that is not too revealing. I'm not going to say exactly who is, I'm not going to say names exactly. And those who know me personally may be able to put two and two together. You could reach out to me and we could have a conversation. That's cool. But I just feel bad for my listeners outside of that bubble who may not understand exactly, but I'm going to share enough so it could be clear enough. Because I also feel like, we have the right to share our story, regardless of how it may paint other people's narrative, regardless of how it may look bad on other people. I think that's a bondage that we may put on ourselves because I don't want to get backlash for this. I don't want this person to be mad at me, and I get that feeling, yet there's liberation in telling your truth, period. And you could explain how your relationship with said person or said persons is much different now, is much better now, to kind of bring it all together in full circle. But I think it's important to just be honest about, I'm like painting it before I fucking talk. Let me just talk. Anyways, that's where I'm coming from. So I hope you guys understand that. So I was recalling moments, a really, really hard time in my early adolescent years, being 13, 14, 15. So my first, the end of 8th grade and the beginning of my high school career. And I was going through a hard time within my family. And I was thinking to myself, why am I so hesitant about commitment? Not even hesitant. I'm downplaying it, actually. I have a phobia of commitment. I get anxiety when I feel like someone really likes me and I start to like them and I realize that they really like me, and I just feel so anxious that I shut down, and I feel my palms getting sweaty. I feel my chest getting tight, and it feels suffocating for me. So I purposely and subconsciously also put myself in situations that are short term. And I do that for a reason. So pretty much what I could say is, growing up, I witnessed infidelity as I was growing up. And this person, so I witnessed infidelity as I was growing up, and I was caught in between it because I wanted to speak up about what I saw, what I felt, and I felt bad because I was feeling bad for the other person who was getting cheated on. And I remember when I was speaking up about it, because I'm the type of person, if you guys haven't realized yet, I'm very vocal. I share how I feel. I speak about the elephant in the room, because I feel like, what the fuck are we lying for? Like, can we talk about what's going on so we could get to the healing? I want to get to the healing part. Yay. And it's hard to get there when we're just faking the funk, when we're just, just being cute. And that's why I talk a lot about, I like authentic friendships. I like authentic relationships, authentic connections with people. And when we only do small talk, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's really talk and get to know each other, etc. So anyway, as I was growing up, I witnessed infidelity, and I was heartbroken by it because this person was supposed to be, typically when you think of parents has children, we see them as superheroes. We see them as flawless beings. And when we are seeing a flaw in their character, and when we call it out, or when we try to understand it better, we're looked at as being disrespectful, as being fresh, etc. So when I was calling out this infidelity that I saw, particularly because I was feeling bad for the other person who's getting cheated on, I was caught in the line of fire, and everyone around me, a lot of people around, not everyone, but a lot of people around me was pointing me to blame, was making me feel like I should have never spoke up. I should have never said anything, and it's like, it's that same feeling when someone gets molested and you speak up about it. You say, this person molested me, this person raped me, and this person who did the raping, right? The rapist, the molester who did that is someone in the family who is revered, someone who is seen as this nice, outgoing person. What do you mean? This guy's a sweetheart. How could he ever do that? And now you're looked at as the bad guy for even bringing this to my attention, for even calling out this truth for what it is. Because a lot of people may know, but they don't want to talk about it. And when you force people to talk about something that's uncomfortable, you're the bad guy. Unfortunately, a lot of times when you are in families or in dynamics that like to just keep appearances very positive, very looking good type of vibe, and when you call out a flaw, when you call out a poor behavior, you're the bad person now, which is so fucked up, right? So anyway, I was made to feel bad, to feel just horrible for speaking out about what was happening, what I witnessed, etc. And this parent in my life abandoned her role in my life emotionally. So I'm not gonna say exactly which parents, so y'all could, I don't know, play guess. But this person abandoned the role in my life as a parent emotionally. This person didn't leave out of my life, but I felt abandonment, and I experienced abandonment, and I was even told, fuck, I don't know how to keep this fucking disguise. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to use pronouns and y'all figure it out. But anyway, this person abandoned her role in my life emotionally, and I felt so alone. When someone tells you, don't call me mom anymore, don't call me dad anymore, you're broken, right? Oh my God, I don't get emotional, but you're really upset, right? You feel like, what did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong, because I would talk to myself and say, I didn't do anything wrong because it wasn't my fault. I wasn't a partner in this marriage that fucked it up, right? I didn't do anything wrong. But you're gaslight to believe that you did. So anyway, I was alone in that feeling and that experience at that time, because my sister at the time was on her way off to college, starting that new chapter and that journey in her life. And that was amazing for her. But I was alone. I was alone emotionally, and I wasn't able to really process well. So I remember at the time I was diving into more reading. Reading has been my escape ever since I was young. I was drawing a lot when I was younger. I would just kind of keep to myself. And I think about how much that blew up in my face. Even though I was standing up for someone else, it blew up in my face, and it made me feel like trash. And I didn't see commitment the way I should have seen. You know how you're supposed to see a marriage flourish? You're supposed to see a good example of a marriage, and you don't see that. And you feel like you're the one to blame for that, or you feel like you just feel bad for it, right? Or you're made to feel bad for it because you did the moral thing. You did what you felt was right at the time to do. And maybe in retrospect, I could look back and say, because, oftentimes people say, don't talk about or don't get in grown folks' business. And I agree with that to an extent. And the extent goes into when grown folks put you in their business. Okay. And at that time, I was put into business that shouldn't have been my business. I shouldn't have been in a position when this parent was talking to someone else, and I was told, hey, after I have this phone call, I want you to erase this phone log, this call log. I was put in situations whenever they would have an argument, I was like a venting pool for this person, and I was feeling the emotions and the weight of the marriage that I was witnessing, and I was feeling that so heavily, but nobody was realizing, hey, let me not include this 13-year-old girl into our mess. Let's keep this in our master bedroom. And I was not given that privilege, right? So I felt really broken emotionally, and I was trying to earn this parent's love. I was trying to earn their affection for me, and that's not right. We shouldn't have to think that we have to earn someone's love. And I follow this lady on Instagram, and I may do because I know she offers like coaching or something like that. So I'm gonna look into her I might look into her to see what she could offer me and what are some practical steps that I could do. Because I do a lot of work on myself on my own, and I'm grateful that God has given me the mindset and the wherewithal to do so. So that's been helpful for my journey. But I also do value having a therapist or a coach, and I just haven't been blessed enough to find one that works for me. So anyway, I'll hopefully I will find one eventually. But she was saying in one of her Instagram stories that you are worthy just as you are. Like, you don't have to earn someone's affection. You don't have to earn someone's love. And for so long, I've been realizing, just recently, but I've been realizing that I've been doing that for most of my life. And ever since I was 13 or 14, when I was earning the love of my mother. I just slipped it. But I was earning her love. I was trying to earn her love. I was trying to have the answer to everything. I was trying to perform the best that I could at school. And I was trying to look presentable, like just appease to her as much as I could so she could love me, so she could show me that she loves me. And so the time when she said to me, prior to me wanting to earn her love and prior to me earning for her love, the time when she was like, don't call me mom or anymore, I was feeling so broken that I wanted to fix that, right? I wanted to make that not a thing anymore, because I'm going to earn your love. I'm going to show you that you should love me, and that you should be a mother for me. And so I was reflecting on that. Calm down. I was reflecting on that, and I was realizing that really fucked me up. That really fucked me up. And that's the reason why I have been behaving in a way that shows fear in commitment. Oh my gosh, y'all. If you're listening, if you want to see my tears, go ahead and sign up for our Patreon. That is where I post the full visual episode. So anyway, tears are not a sign of weakness. I continue to speak that into myself. But because I was reflecting on that moment, all of the emotions from when I was 13 came back tenfold. When I tell y'all, all of the suppression that I was, surprisingly, I forgot about that time in my life. And it's not like I just had amnesia and forgot, but I haven't thought about that time in such a long time that I didn't realize how that affected me to this day. I didn't realize that that's the root behind my casual affairs with these niggas. I didn't realize that every time I open my legs to these niggas, that was my way of earning for them to stay longer. That was my way of earning for more than just a moment with these guys and wanting for them to last longer. So that was my way of earning the way I was trying to earn for my mother when I was much younger. So I was remembering all of those feelings. It was coming back tenfold, and I was bawling, y'all, just by myself on my beautiful blue single couch right there. And I was bawling, and I was remembering her. And her meaning my 13-year-old self, her meaning my 14 and 15-year-old self. I was remembering the pain that I felt and not ever fully healing from that. I never really talked about that since then. I never really had an outlet for that. And I kept that to myself because there was no one else around then who I could communicate with. My sister was off in college doing her thing, and I don't want to be a burden, right? You know, I want her to enjoy her college career. I'm not really close like that to my brothers. My father, who at the time still knew, he's not really he doesn't face what's in front of him sometimes, and doesn't really talk in real form. Like, it's like we just play a talk. Like, I don't know if that's making sense to y'all, but like, we just play a facade sometimes when we communicate, and he wasn't present emotionally for me to vent to him. And then you have my mom, who abandoned her role to me emotionally as a mom. And so I just felt so alone. I felt so alone. And you could say, oh, well, what about your friends? I don't really have friends like that. Honestly, like, many of my peers at the time were into stuff that I wasn't into. So I was just always felt left out. I always felt like I didn't belong in my peer groups. And throughout my life, I realized, like, I don't have a clique of friends. Like, I may have a clique of people who I know, who I may spend time with. Okay, that's cool. But as far as friends, I've always kept the number pretty small. Like, I remember high school, I had 2 strong female friends in my life, and they were amazing. And that was great. That was what I needed. Undergrad, I had 1 good girlfriend, and I had like 2 or 3 other friends who I would hang out with here and there. But that 1 good girlfriend of mine, we were tight. Going into my work life and my career, I had 1 friend who I was really close with, who I am no longer. Fuck that bitch. Anyway, so so I think about, where was I going with that? So I didn't have anyone at the time to talk to. And so instead, I would communicate with myself. I would find outlets to express myself. And I suppressed it. I didn't realize I was doing that until now. Because I haven't spoken about that time since. I just kind of stopped talking about it. And then you may think, okay, so what happened to your relationship with your mom? What happened to that? I guess over time, you know, you just kind of move forward. Okay, over time, over time, you just move forward. You just don't talk about it. And then suddenly what happened yesterday is now not just yesterday. It's now 2 weeks ago. It's now 2 months ago. So like it becomes more distant. So it's more, there's more of an ease to move forward. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy that way. You have to talk about what happened, right? So anyway, I think about now how much that affected me, how much that has damaged me. And I look at relationships, I look at marriage as a trap. That's literally how I look at marriage. That's how I see marriage. And since then, I've never fantasized about, what the fuck? Sorry, y'all. I've never fantasized about relationships. I never fantasized about marriage in particular because, oh, my niece. I never fantasized about marriage in particular because I remember that example of a marriage to me, and I felt like I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be with someone and then feel this person has abandoned their role in my life. Because I experienced that, and I don't want to experience that again. And I don't want to experience that in the context of marriage. And so that's why I preach so much that we should normalize fucking divorce. We should normalize get out. The whole movie, we should normalize that, because I don't ever want to be in a space where I'm not happy and I'm just stuck there. Because really being stuck is a state of mind. It's not even in your physical reality, it's a state of mind. So anyway, I think about that moment and I realize my phobia, my fear of abandonment, it all stems from fear. My fear of vulnerability, my fear of commitment, all of it stands from that point in time in my life. And I don't want to be that person who, well, because you know how a lot of guys out here would talk about how their father was in their life, right? Because my daddy didn't, he wasn't there. He left the family. He was beating on my mom's, or, the last guy, not the last guy, but y'all know Boston Bay. He would talk a lot about his father who abandoned his family and who was an addict and who beat his mom. And he will always keep on referencing the trauma in his life as to why he is the way he is. And although we need to understand the context behind our character, the context behind our decisions and our actions, we also need to move forward from that. So I don't want to stay stuck here, right? I don't want to always be afraid of commitment. I don't always want to have a perception of marriage as a trap. I don't want to always be afraid of being vulnerable, being afraid of being abandoned. Like, I can't control whether someone chooses to leave or stay in my life. I can't. There's nothing I could do to earn that. And I want to move forward from the mindset of earning someone's love, earning someone's affection for me. So yes, it's good to know your context. It's good to know why you've been behaving a particular way. That's great. Now, what can we do about it? I'm super solution oriented. What can we do to move forward? What can we do to get to a place of healing, a place of growth? So as I was going through that shadow work, I was thinking to myself, and after watching the episode with Joe Rogan and that man, John Cena, I was thinking to myself, I gotta go on a fast. I have to rid myself from these thoughts. I have to, oh my God, I said John Cena, not John Cena. I forgot his name, but he was somebody on the Joe Rogan episode. And now, if y'all are interested, I'll let y'all know. It's not John Cena, not the WWE guy. It was this random guy who has his boot camp set up at his ranch. And he talks about how working out is more than just a physical thing. Anyway, so as I was going through this work and feeling Joe DeCena, that's his name, not John Cena. So if you guys are interested, is this episode on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast that I watch on YouTube. And this guest's name is Joe DeCena. Joe DeCena has 1.8 million views. All of his podcast episodes have like at least 4 million. Like, damn, nigga. But yeah, Joe DeCena. That episode, it sparked something in me. It made me want to do something about it. Like, okay, now that I understand the reason behind my shit, right? Behind my trauma, behind my actions. Now that I understand it, now that I've identified it, here's what I could do, or what can I do about it? So I felt called to get on this fast. And I was thinking, what is it that I've been doing that I really need to not do anymore? That's fucking. What is it that I need to do that I shouldn't be doing anymore, that I don't feel fulfilled from, that I don't feel moved from, that I feel depleted after? Like, I can't express enough. I really don't like fucking y'all niggas. And it's not to say that I'm a lesbian. I'm not. And no shade to anyone who is. God bless y'all too. But it's something about, I don't feel any pleasure. I mean, sometimes I feel sexual pleasure. Sometimes. But as far as a spiritual pleasure, as far as emotional fulfillment, no. Like it's literally a no. And I'm tired of just fucking just to fuck. That's what it is. Like I'm tired of fucking just to fuck. I want to make love one day. I would like to experience it. I would like to fall in love. I haven't been in love. I was in a relationship before. I wasn't in love with that nigga. I fucked many niggas. I fucked many niggas. I haven't been in love with not one of them. I want that to change. So instead of just sitting in that feeling of feeling like damaged goods, because I felt for a moment, damn, am I just fucked? Am I just damaged goods? I like to move forward in my thoughts. So I have to do something different. I can't keep on fucking these niggas when I don't really want to fuck them. I can't keep on, speaking negatively about just anything anymore. It's not productive for me. It's not good for my soul. So I just added to the fast, I'm gonna take off alcohol consumption for 30 days and just really clear my mind, detoxify my body, just detoxify my mind, my soul, and really get into myself. And so when I look at fasting, it's not just about what you're giving up, it's also about what are you going to add more into your life. So I wanted to not just give up alcohol and give up sex. I wanted to add something. So I added working out 5 times a week. And I work out regularly enough, but not as consistent as I could have previous to this fast. So I will work out maybe I'll work like probably twice a week. And I said to myself, I want to be more consistent with that. And I know that there is more power. There is more of a spiritual renewing when it comes to working out. So after I watched that episode of the Joe Rogan podcast, and stop fucking promoting them, no cross motion over here. But after I was watching that episode with Joe DeCina, that's his name, I felt inspired to work out 5 times a week. And ever since I've been on this fast, y'all, when I tell you something has been moving inside of me on a spiritual, positive level, I've been feeling more clear-headed. So this is a little weird example that I'm going to give y'all, but I don't know if any other woman feels this way. So when you pee, right? Do you guys get horny? Because I get horny when I pee. Or I used to. I don't anymore. Well, I haven't recently. I don't say I don't anymore, but I haven't the past few days since I started this fast. But previous to this fast, I would pee or I would sit on the toilet prior to pushing the urine out of my vagina. Or is it the urethra? Okay, biology 101. But prior to pushing out the pee, I would hold on to that bladder and I would recall passionate moments with the guy from 3 years ago. What should I call him? Commitment phobe. I don't know. But the guy from 3 years ago who I really felt like he was my guy. I would recall all of the moments that we had together and I would go through them in my mind like a Rolodex, and I would feel it was like I would feel their energy on me. It's so weird. I know it sounds weird and whatever, but this is literally what I've been doing for years. I would feel his energy on me and I would feel like he's there. I will feel a comfort in that right before I pee, y'all. And finally, when I'm realizing, okay, I gotta go, I gotta get up and get on with my day, I will go ahead and pee, and that will be a moment. But mostly every time when I pee, I would go through that in my head again, and it'll be anywhere, not just when I'm home, y'all. It'll be like it'll be the worst or best when I am drunk. Not drunk. I don't like saying drunk at 29 years old. I'm not an undergrad anymore. But it'll be most intense when I am, have like probably 3 or 4 drinks and I go to the bathroom at the restaurant, at the club, and I'm holding on to that bladder some more. And I remember and I go through the Rolodex of memories with that person from 3 years ago. And I remember the moments I had with him, and I would feel him again in my body. I would feel him in my body because I would visualize our time so intensely that I would feel myself there at the parking lot as he lifted my chin and kissed me. I would go over that moment over and over again. And I would go over how I felt in that moment. And I would feel this intensity in my body, y'all. Like, I hope I'm making sense to somebody, at least one person. But sometimes we don't realize how smart our body is. Our body speaks to us. You know how lately there's this meme I've seen, not a meme, but you know how there's these pictures on Instagram where it's not a picture of somebody, just a picture of words, of a phrase, of a sentence. It's like an inspirational quote or just like something, a food for thought type of sentence or declaration. And I saw this picture and it read, what it read? Oh, uh recognize how your body feels when you hang out with somebody. Recognize how your body feels after hanging out with that person. And that's real. Your body tells you if the person you're hanging out with, whether it's platonic or romantic, your body tells you the energy of that person. Your body tells you if this person is good for your soul. Like, do you feel happy when you leave someone's presence, or do you feel depleted? Do you feel excited when you're about to meet up with somebody, or do you feel discouraged? Like, oh God, this person's about to talk about something depressing, or this person is going to be discouraging to you. What does your body feel? How does your chest feel? How do you tense up when you're around somebody? Or are you relaxed and just full in your wholeness of your body? Do you feel like you got to put on an act? You got to, be prim and proper when you're around somebody? Are your hands tight? Are they folding up, right? Are they in fist? How is your body reacting? And I say this to encourage anyone to really look within yourself. Yourself tells you how to feel, or not even how to feel. It tells you how you are feeling. It tells you if you are feeling good with this person or if you're not. We have to recognize our body. And I come from the mindset of just a holistic mindset. Like, sometimes we just ignore our body. Like, okay, I'm just going to work through this pain. I'm just going to go to work, even though my body is depleted and I can't stand long. I can't stand longer than 30 minutes, or I can't concentrate. Like, why is that? Let's sit back and look at our bodies. Let's sit back and feel our bodies. We are in this body. We're spirits in a body. We're a spirit in a body. We are spiritual beings in a physical form. So in your physical form, in the temple that you are in, how are you feeling? How does your hands feel? Is it clammy? Is it tight? Are you crunching it up? How's your chest feeling? Have you been breathing clearly? Are you breathing slowly or rapidly with somebody when you're in the presence of somebody? How are you feeling? So why did I get into that? I can't remember. But my point was, every time I would recall memories of that person from 3 years ago, every time I remember all those times that we had together, my body felt him. And I felt the emotions I felt then. And I was reliving that in the moment, in the 30 seconds on the damn toilet. That's how I was feeling. So anyway, I'm saying these things because during this fast, as I was saying before, I don't want to get stuck anymore. I don't want to get stuck in that feeling of the past. I don't want to get stuck in that 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl who felt abandoned, who felt emotionally abandoned, who was emotionally abandoned by a parent. And I don't want to be there anymore. I want to move forward. I want to honor that little girl in me and honor myself with intentional relationships, honor myself with relationships that speak to my body, that feel my body, that feels good in my body. I want to recognize her and not just be sad for her anymore. I don't want to be sad for her anymore. I want her to see who she has evolved herself to be at 29 and realize, wow, she has grown. She is loving. She is receiving love, and she is feeling worthy of love. So when we remember a traumatic moment from when we were younger and we feel those emotions now, years later, we need to realize what are some feelings that person, that little girl, that little boy wanted to feel in that moment. And how can we cultivate those feelings today? So when I was 13 and 14, I wanted to feel whole. I wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to feel welcomed. I wanted to feel encouraged, to be recognized. I wanted to feel loved. And today, and even though we can't go in the past, right? You know, we're so quick to say, at least for me, I'm so quick to want to, I wish I could change the past. I wish I said this back then. I wish I did that back then, et cetera, et cetera. We can't. That's a period, right? That's the past is the past. We can't do anything about it. We can't go back there and change what happened. It is what it is. So while you are in the is part, while you are in the present, how can we feel the feelings that you were wanting to feel when you were 13 and 14? So I was saying that to myself, and I was saying, I want to feel loved, right? I want to love. I want to feel brave when it comes to love, when it comes to emotions. I want to feel whole and accepted as I am, and to be strong in all of me and not feel like I have to hide some parts. Sometimes I feel like I have to, earlier in my adulthood, I felt like I would try to kind of play a role for people. And now I realize now I'm more whole in who I am, and I'm more proud of that. So there's that acceptance that I've been working on, that I've been receiving and recognizing within myself. So I say all that to say, I encourage you all to do some shadow work at this point. Fuck, it's emotional. And I'm all about healing. I'm all about growth. I'm all about evolving, and it's not easy. It is not easy, Lord. But you're not alone. You are not alone. You may be alone in your physical presence, right? Maybe, right? Because I am doing the work when I'm by myself, but I listen to myself, and I receive messages from God, from my ancestors, from how He speaks to me. And I feel and I receive the guidance that I need. So I feel whole in that moment. And then I do some reaching out to people in my life who I care about, and I converse with them, and try not to stay in that space of pain anymore. When we are in our healing journey, we sometimes get so verklempt into the trauma that we just stay in that sadness. I'm just going to be sad today because I remember what happened to me when I was 13. I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be happy. So to honor that little girl of me, that 13 and 14-year-old girl in me, I am going to be happy. I'm going to worship my body more by not consuming these niggas, by not opening my legs to these niggas. So this fast has really showed me a lot, shown a lot to me for sure, and it has cleared my thinking. And so I'm kind of like, damn, this fast is gonna be quote unquote over August 25th, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be over. And what I mean by that is the journey doesn't stop. Healing doesn't stop, right? You may be healed from that particular moment in time, but every day we have to continue to speak life and death to ourselves, because every day we are battling with negative thoughts and positive thoughts, right? There's a little voice in us that may always spew out negative things like, oh, you can't do this. What are you thinking? Why did you even start this? This was a horrible move, blah, 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 right? All these negative thoughts that naturally, that voice that comes in, we have to speak against that voice. So I have been doing that, and it's only been 8 days, and I've been feeling so good. And I've been on a fast, or I had a fast. I talked about it on this podcast many episodes ago. And I didn't do it with much intention. I was just like, I'm just not going to have sex for 30 days, just to kind of prove to myself I can't have sex for 30 days. And it was like, I don't think it was for that long, actually. I think it was shorter. And I think it was easier for me to do it then because there wasn't really anyone around me who I was interested in in fucking. So that was like, oh, well, I did it. I completed that task. It's like, okay, but there was no challenge, or there was no objective from it that really served me. Now on this fast, it is intentional. It is fruitful, and it's really for me. So at the end of the fast, I'm not necessarily looking for, okay, by the end of this fast, I'm gonna be in a relationship. That's that is still far from my mind, completely. But where I'm at is, throughout this fast and beyond this fast, I'm looking to be healed from this. I'm looking to be brave in this, whatever that is. And I hope that this is encouraging to anybody. And I would love to hear your story, to encourage you all to do the work, realize what is it that has been a pattern in your behavior that has been destructive, and holding that mirror to your face. And because y'all know, I have so many episodes, I'm quick to point the finger to everybody else, right? To all these niggas, rightfully so, because all of them really ain't shit. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's just say that. But then again, why am I attracting these ain't shit niggas, right? Or why am I attracting, and I've attracted some good guys, but like, why am I attracting people who I really don't fuck with like that, or who really isn't present for me to be with, because I don't really want to be with them, right? Is so anyway, and it's more than that. It's looking at myself, is seeing the worth in myself, is seeing that I don't need to earn anyone's love. I don't need to earn anyone's right? You don't want to fuck with me, you don't have to fuck with me. And it's also in friendships. Like, I think about friendships, I'm just like, oh my gosh, we had an argument. That means you're always gonna not be my friend anymore, right? That means we're done now. Because I think one bad moment with somebody is gonna be the forever moment with that person. And that's something that I learned is called object constancy. Let me look that up real quick. Yes, so I literally just learned that. They say it's a narcissist. I'm not a narcissist. I don't think I'm a narcissist, because narcissists aren't introspective. Anyway, this is going further than I need it to go. That's a whole different topic, object constancy. Y'all look that up. But that pretty much is somebody who, if you have if you have a negative moment with somebody, even though you've had plenty of good times with that person, you feel like that last moment with that person that was negative will forever be that moment. Like, you have this attachment issue, and it's hard for you to look at the relationship as a whole, rather than looking at it in the way that you may be looking at it as just like a moment in time. Hope that's making sense to somebody. But just do the research, Google it, because that's what I did. I came across it and I was like, that's interesting. Because that's something that I relate to. I would think, oh my gosh, we had this argument. That means you're never going to be my friend anymore. That means you don't want me in your life anymore. Oh my gosh. And that comes from my fear of abandonment. And that comes from when I was 13, 14 years old, when I experienced emotional abandonment from my parent. But I'm grateful that things have improved tremendously in my relationships with my parents, and that's the silver lining for sure. And the silver lining is also seeing myself more in how God sees me. So I'm going to end it here, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to remind you all to please subscribe. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts in particular, because I don't think Spotify gives you space to leave reviews, but Apple Podcasts do. And that's a great space for you all to show your support. If you can't support me through a Patreon, that's fine. But please support me by leaving a review. So leaving a review consists of giving me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It consists of writing down a comment and submitting a comment about how you feel about this podcast. And that's what I encourage you all. If this episode has resonated with you, if many episodes ago, previous episodes have resonated with you, please share that praise, please share that gratitude and leave a review on Apple Podcasts and provide me with 5 stars, subscribe, like, share, and continue to support this podcast in the ways that works best for you. So I thank you all in advance, and I will check in with you all next time. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This Podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.